What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Greels Reels. I'm your host, Robert Greeley, and today I got a really exciting episode for you. I am so stoked. This was a fantastic conversation with the Newfoundland Growlers, Todd Skirving. Now, obviously, things aren't the greatest for ECHL players, so we dive into just, how COVID-19 has been affecting them and a bunch of other stuff from, him choosing to play in the NCAA, winning a ECHL championship in the inaugural season of the Growlers, and just so much more, like even being a part of the Toronto Maple Leafs organization. Really hope you guys enjoy today's podcast, and yeah, make sure to check out our YouTube as well. We got a lot of fun vlogs and videos up there, and you can always kind of see visually how these conversations are going just with now and how we've had to readjust. But yeah, enjoy today's podcast. Yeah, so I normally start off my podcast with a little introduction of our guests, but I wanted to do it a little bit different today because I just, before we start anything, I wanted to say thank you. Thank you for being a part of bringing my home province its first championship.
Yeah, no, it was a pretty special moment, and, doing it for the people of Newfoundland and St. John's and all that was a pretty cool experience to share with the rest of the city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was killing me not being actually able to be in the province during that run, but yeah, we'll get into that a little bit later. I just kind of we'll start things with just kind of growing up in Thunder Bay and playing minor hockey there. What was that like? Because Thunder Bay is kind of off in not. It's a long few road trips if you want to get to Thunder Bay for most of the rest of the province in Ontario.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely the hub of the north. To head down to the greater Toronto area, it's quite the hike unless we take a flight. But, growing up, I played a little bit of rep hockey. I played AA most of my life, and then, kind of took off when I was 15. I played one more year AA hockey, got more ice time rather than playing rep hockey where I probably wouldn't have played as much. And then 16, 17, 18, I think it was, is where I played for the Thunder Bay Kings here, which is a traveling team, and, got a lot of good reps in there, got a lot of playing time, and from there, that's when I continued on to the junior ranks in the BCHL and then to the USHL. And then I completed 4 years of schooling and hockey at Rochester Institute of Technology before I turned pro. So, yeah, the minor hockey here is huge. It's a big hockey city here. Obviously, a lot of players playing pro hockey in the National Hockey League as well. So, hockey is alive and well in Thunder Bay, that's for sure.
Yeah. Is it a pretty close and tight-knit sports community?
Yeah, a lot of guys here keep in touch with each other over the years. Some guys have moved on to different cities and moved away from the Thunder Bay, but, it's home for us. In the summertime, we have an opportunity to skate together before our training camps at the core hockey school there. And, everyone's pretty tight-knit here. Like you said, I think everyone kind of pushes each other to be better. We kind of go off to our own seasons separately and, try to do well, so it's a good community here, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's Thunder Bay's also produced some pretty good football players too. You into football much?
I don't watch, honestly. I'm a Colts fan, but with our schedule this year, we missed a lot of games because usually our travel days were Sunday morning, and so we'd be spending a lot of time at the airport. So the last couple of years, I haven't had much of an opportunity to really watch it, but I'm a Colts fan. I know we have. I know Nigel Romix from Thunder Bay. He went to the same high school as I did. I think he's a year or two older than me, so I didn't really know him, personally, but I had mutual friends with him, and I know he was able to win a CFL championship. I think it was, a year or two ago?
Yeah, I think it's going on 4 years for the Red Blacks. I think because it was my first year in the city of Ottawa that they won the Grey Cup.
Yeah, it kind of feels like just yesterday, but yeah. So he was. But football, yeah, I know the high school football is getting a lot bigger here now. I think, the high school I went to, St. Patrick High School, and St. Ignatius, the other Catholic school there, they've actually built turf, fields at each of the schools now. So I think, I'm not here for that time of year, but I think they've started playing some games there too instead of just playing at a central location. So I think that kind of heats the rivalry between the two schools and just the rest of the schools being able to play kind of at your home school rather than a city stadium. So it's definitely growing here, that's for sure.
Yeah, actually, it's funny you mentioned St. Pat's because I'm pretty familiar with that because over the years just of my time working in university football, we had a couple recruits from that high school.
Mm-hmm, yeah, the coaching staff there, I know Bevelok is there, Battistel's been there for years. They do a good job there. They have a weight room there, and they kind of hold themselves to high standards there. And so definitely a lot of successful football players that I know have moved on college, throughout Canada and probably the United States, I'm sure of as well.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, so for being I guess far northern up in the province, a lot of people, smaller communities and ones that aren't kind of like centralized in the big locations, they kind of get deemed of like just not being able to kind of compete when it comes to going up against those big Ontario schools and even programs. Like I know in the OHL Cup in 07 and 08, you were going up against teams from that like GTA area who had like Tyler Sagan, Jeff Skinner was in that tournament, Tyler Toffoli. What was that like?
That year was actually definitely tough. So with it was kind of, I don't know, weird situation, probably a politics situation that none of us kids at the time understood. But for the rep team here, they combined the minor midget team with the major midget team. So there were some 15-year-olds playing like up a level, whereas like a lot of us just ended up playing AA hockey that year. So when the time came for the OHL Cup, they put our team together 2 weeks before the OHL Cup, because that's when the season was kind of done for everyone. And we basically had a couple practices, and then we had to go right into the fire and play teams, like you said, with likes of Skinner and Sagan. So, I thought we did, all right at the time for kind of what we had. If we were a team that was put together for the entire season, I think we would have had a bit of a better outcome. But it was definitely tough that year because we weren't playing together. We were all kind of scattered for the entire season, and then only had 2 weeks to prepare for what is a pretty big tournament for a lot of young hockey players. There's a lot of skill, a lot of good hockey players that come out of that tournament that move on to play in the National Hockey League. So, yeah, it was a good experience, but like I said, I don't think we had the opportunity to prepare ourselves like we'd wanted to.
Mm-hmm. Even just kind of looking back at your own personal production in that tournament, though. With all that being said, it was you still came out at a point per game, which is pretty remarkable considering the situation you guys were in.
Yeah. Like you said, there's a lot of good teams, a lot of good players. I thought there's games that we were in, I thought, for the most part, and then come the third period, our wheels kind of fell off against those teams that kind of been playing together all year. So, yeah, like we definitely put up a fight. We kind of just went in there with just have a fun mentality, just go out there, play our hearts out, and let's try and make something happen. And I think it was our last game. I think we won against Peterborough at the time. If I can remember, it feels so long ago now, but yeah, we were able to win. I think we won our last game, and like I said, the other games we were kind of in, but we were able to get one win, and going into our last game, that was our only goal, is at least not lose every game, so we were able to win one anyway.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. So, we'll move into your time in the BCHL. A lot of people talk very highly of that league, and you're seeing more and more talent produced from there every day. You look back at last year's NHL draft with Alex Newhook, going in the first round. He's a BCHL alumni. What was your time like in that league?
It was good. So, at first I was talking to, we have like when I played for the Kings there, we had a tournament out in British Columbia. And I was able to talk to, Vernon at the time, Penticton and Trail. And, Trail tried to get me before I went out to play another year of AAA, but I kind of wanted to finish schooling at home and be with my parents one more year and just kind of set myself up for hopefully a bright future. But anyways, I ultimately chose Vernon at the time, and I got to Vernon. It was a great spot, great setup, good winning history there, great culture. I had Mark Verner as a coach and Jason Williamson, and they were great. And, come trade deadline, they're looking at a piece on the back end, and I don't think anyone was really expecting to get traded. My dad was actually out there to visit me at the time, and I ended up getting traded to Prince George, who was kind of at the bottom of the league at the time. And so he was flying back to Thunder Bay, and I was flying north to British Columbia to, pretty far up north in the middle of nowhere, kind of say. And, I ended up finishing my year there. And when I got to Prince George, obviously they had unloaded on a lot of their big units. They were looking to get, pieces for following years and whatnot. So I got to play a lot more when I got to Prince George, which is good. So I got to go from two different teams, two different organizations. I thought, obviously you never want to get traded, but for me it helped kind of me grow a little bit, mature a little bit, try to, embrace the situation and make the most of it. And that's what I was able to do. And finished out in Prince George and had a good time there and made some good friends that'll last a lifetime, obviously. And then the following year I moved into the USHL.
Yeah, so kind of leewaying into that. That was so after that season, you kind of almost switch nations where it was all your hockey was being played in Canada, and now all of a sudden you're in the States. So yeah, take me through the those first few years in the UCHL, and just I guess being a Canadian from Thunder Bay, Ontario, and now all of a sudden you're in the States.
Yeah, I mean, it was actually closer to home. It was only a 10-hour drive, so that was kind of nice. I think it was 1 hour time difference from my parents, so it was a little bit close. Where instead of BC, where it's 3 hours. But no, I was just a family friend here from Thunder Bay, Marcus Perrier, played in Sioux Falls, and he kind of put in a word into with the coach, Kevin Hartzell, at the time, and I ended up getting a call late in the summer from Kevin Hartzell, and he said he would like to invite me to camp. And he said, we know we can't guarantee you a spot on the team, but if you'd like to come to camp and try and make the team, more power to you. And I remember looking at my dad when I had the voicemail on the home phone. I said, I'm packing my bags and I'm going there to make the team, because it was kind of a league I really like to play in. I just never knew I'd get the opportunity to do it. And obviously went there, was able to have a good enough camp, and then I played there for the year. And Hartsey was a great coach at the time, kind of took me under his wing and helped me develop. And then the following year we got Kerry Eads, and I was able to spend 2 years there with 2 good coaching staffs and a lot of good players. And yeah, it was probably 2 of the best years of my life of hockey. Anyway, I mean, we had a great fan base. The fans were so supportive. We had a good setup with the Billett family there. I had Brad and Melissa Anderson, and they were great for me too. And my roommate Ed McGovern and Joel Schultz, they were great. And I had nothing but good things to say about my time in Sioux Falls. And to be honest, I haven't even been back there since. But I mean, it's kind of on a list of things to do, obviously, to go see all the fans and friends that I made during my time there.
Yeah, no, it sounds like a great time, and it's a little bit of an interesting route. Was that was your time spent there kind of leewaying into your commitment into the NCAA?
Yeah, so it was it started a little bit after the OHL Cup. Obviously, I think the draft I did talk to Kitchener literally an hour after the draft, inviting me to camp, but I kind of sat down with my dad. He obviously had a little bit more knowledge of the whole situation, and we both kind of talked about it, and I knew that I kind of wasn't ready to make that jump into juniors yet. And I thought, you know what, why don't I just get a degree while playing hockey and use my hockey to get a degree? So it kind of started then. And then RAT had seen me at a couple tournaments out in British Columbia when they were scouting, a couple of the BC teams, and because all of it's in the localized area there. And then when I went to Sioux Falls, I kind of kept in contact with RAT and a bunch of other schools there, and then ended up committing to RAT. I can't remember the exact date. I think it was in the fall time of my second year there, my overage year, and a week later I'm spreading my MCL, so I was out for like a month. So it was kind of good timing. I mean, I don't know how, when I came back, I kind of maybe rushed it. When I came back, I wasn't fully ready, but I'd already made the commitment to RAT, so I was able to secure a spot in the NCAA, and at that point, that was my ultimate goal, was to get obviously a scholarship to a really good school, and it still happened to be RAT.
And so, I mean, take me through that decision, and I guess just kind of deciding, because it is a thing that a growing debate, especially in this nation, where it's like, okay, do we play junior and play in the OHL, or do we go and play in the NCAA and get that degree while you're playing hockey? It's definitely a hot topic for just junior hockey. I mean, what would you just have to say in terms of playing NCAA?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any right routes. I mean, it's just kind of which, works best for you. I mean, for me, it was to go to school. I knew at a young age that I kind of wasn't ready to make that jump to the OHL. Like, the OHL is a great skilled league, a lot of good players. I mean, it's like the NCAA is good, the OHL is good, all the major junior. You can kind of go either way. You just have to kind of look at the situation and just see what fits best for you. For me, I knew if I went to the OHL, I wasn't going to really play because I wasn't ready. I knew that, and my dad obviously helped me talk me through that. And I didn't really want to get bounced around, because then obviously once you get to the OHL, I mean, you could drop down to Tier 2, whether it's like the BCHL, AHL, that kind of level, which is also just as good. But I just didn't really want to get bounced around and then lose my eligibility to go to the NCAA, because if you look now, like, a lot of players are coming from the NCAA, moving on to the pro ranks, so it's kind of becoming another door to pro hockey, obviously. So, I mean, any advice for young kids is just kind of just take a step back, look in the mirror, and just see what works best for you. Would you like to get a degree earlier, or use hockey to get a degree, or would you like to jump into the major junior? And, you just got to know if you're ready, and you got to feel confident in your decision. I think whatever you choose, you just got to go out there and take it. So that's all I could say about that.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I mean, honestly, just looking at it, the 4 years of NCAA that you played, I mean, honestly, I don't think probably could have went any better. Maybe a fourth championship instead of three. What was that like? I mean, most people, they commit to a university hoping to kind of get one national championship in the 4 years that they're there. I mean, you got to leave with three.
Yeah, I think it might have been, it was only two, but I think the elite prospects got it wrong. It has to be three, but it looks good on the prospects thing, right?
Oh, okay. Someone's got to send in the correction then. Okay.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, two.
Yeah. So, when I was talking RIT, obviously I wanted an opportunity just to play. Obviously nothing is handed to you. You got to earn it. So, obviously I had an opportunity to play there. And one of the things about RIT is that, it's got a rich history of winning championships. I think every year, or every class that comes in throughout their 4 years has either won like a regular season championship or a playoff championship. And to be honest, I think this year might have been the last year for it to be done. I think they went the last 3 years without doing anything, and unfortunately, obviously, due to the coronavirus, the seniors they were having a good season and they got canceled. So they might be the first class to not be able to obviously win a championship, which is unfortunate. I feel terrible for them because obviously a championship is something you always wanted to capture when you go to college. So we were able to win my sophomore year, went to the tournament, and my junior year. And then our senior year, I thought we had the team to kind of at least make a push for it again. We had a bunch of injuries, lost two of our top defensemen. We don't like to make excuses, but obviously it hurt us in the end, and we weren't able to capture the third one. But, championship's always something you want. It was something that attracted me to that school. Winning is kind of something that we all have a competitiveness in ourselves. So, I mean, I love to win, and, to do it there at RIT back-to-back years was something special and something I'll never forget.
Mm-hmm. What about the just off-ice experience at RIT? What was just like an everyday life as a student there?
I was good at the beginning. It was. I'll admit it was a little tough. I think I had 6 courses my first semester.
Oh, wow.
Going from, I took some courses when I was out in Vernon. I took 2 courses, and then the summer going into RIT, I had to take a full load because it was an overager. So it was an adjustment of just being, a student athlete again, getting to class, getting your stuff done, and just kind of, prioritizing your day and putting things first before going out and having fun, obviously. But no, it was a good experience. It was a nice campus. The professors are great. You can kind of reach out to them today still. I have a couple of them on Facebook. I have a couple of their numbers. They still follow me, and I still keep in touch with some professors. That was a good thing about RIT, too, was the class sizes were fairly small. Like, I don't think I really, other than a lab that I'd have for biology or something like that, most classes were 20 and under maybe. Sometimes I'd have like 10 to 15. So you got to really know your professor, which just made the hands-on learning part of it that much easier. But no, it was a good experience. RIT, can't complain. 2 rings and scholarship in my back pocket is something I'll carry with me for the rest of my life.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I guess after you finish up with your time at RIT, that's when the pro negotiations start kind of happening. How does that work for a senior in the NCAA just looking at a coast opportunity?
Yeah, well, I didn't have an agent at the time. I got hurt my senior year. I think it was January 7th in Sacred Heart. I had a wrist injury, and that kind of put me out for the rest of the year. I honestly thought I'd be back, but it wouldn't heal. I had a bit of a just nagging injury that just wouldn't go away, which wouldn't allow me to make a pass or shoot a puck. So that makes me pretty irrelevant on the ice. But going into the summer, I just kept training, hoping that maybe I get a call. I wasn't sure do I reach out. And then one point in the summer, I got a call from Brian Hills, who was the assistant coach at RIT, and he said, "Hey, I just got a call from Orlando from Jake Berehowski, and he said he's interested in bringing you in." He said, "I talked to him about you a little bit, and here's his number. Give him a call." So. And I never really thought I'd get an opportunity to play for a Florida team because usually those teams stack up pretty good with a lot of talent. So I'm just, at the time, I was just like, well, this is shocking. And then anyways, I called Coach Berehowski, and he brought me in. He knew that I was part of winning teams, and that's something that they kind of wanted to instill in the team there. And, obviously was there. Ended up signing with Orlando. I went to the Marlies camp at the beginning, then went to Orlando because that was the affiliation at the time. And then coming at the end of January there, my first year, and get traded to Utah. They had the trickle-down effect kind of happen in Orlando. I guess I was the odd one out. And I went to Utah, and I kind of told my dad, I was looking at, we always check elite prospects, kind of a revolving door in the ECHL with the trickle-down effect, and I noticed that a lot of guys were hurt. So I kind of just went there and tried to play my hardest for the team. do whatever I can to help them win. And then ultimately I got traded again back to Atlanta, which was back to the South Division, which is something I was more familiar with, and I was able to finish the year there. So, yeah, I finished the year in Atlanta and obviously made the playoffs. We had a quick sweep of Florida, though, so that ended my first year. Mm-hmm. And then going into the second year, we got a new coaching staff in Atlanta, but I had re-signed with him anyway. And a week into training camp, it was about 2 weeks long, about a week into training camp, or a week before the opening day, I ended up getting called to the office, and he ended up releasing me at the time, and released about several of us returners. So at that point, everyone's got the same problem. Everyone's healthy. You know, there's not many spots throughout the league. And I kind of I texted the coach from the previous season in Atlanta, just asked if he hears anything, let me know. Texted Barahowski at the time, let me know if you hear anything. And I remember texting Coach John Snowden at the time, and he said, just be patient. And so anyways, I sat around for a week. I actually went to Orlando to see the opening game between Atlanta, because that was the team I was going to start the season with, and Orlando, my former team, just to watch the game. And then I remember it was a Sunday night. I texted Snowy. Well, I texted all the coaches again, and I texted Snowy, and I said, hey, I might give it a shot, go to the SP until, Christmas, and just give it last kick of the can and see if this is something I could do and work my way back up, or I might have to call it quits. Like, I'm not really sure. And Snowy said, just give me a little bit. I know he was busy doing some things, and I ended up getting a call from Snowy that night, and he had talked over with Coach Chloe at the time, and they had both talked, and they brought me into Newfoundland and offered me a contract there, and obviously I wasn't going to say no to that. And to this day, if it wasn't probably for Coach Snowy and Ryan Cologne, I probably wouldn't be playing anymore, because the opportunities just weren't really there, and they opened up the door for me, and now I'm a Newfoundland Growler, and it's been honestly some of the best years of my life out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's honestly, it's incredible. And what's so fascinating is, I mean, most guys, if they get traded, it's once a year, and that's it. I mean, you had to go through that twice in one season, and your rookie season of playing pro. I mean, what are some suggestions and recommendations that you would kind of have for players once they get dealt?
I think, obviously it's like you're allowed to be upset about it. Obviously, you get to know the players, the fans. Like, you kind of, especially me, it was like later in the season. So obviously it's tough, and like you're going to be upset, and you got to look at it as a new opportunity that another team wants you, and you just got to go there and show them what you got. And I think for me it was just being positive. I remember I was upset. Obviously, I gave myself 24 hours to be upset, and then once I got on that plane and started heading to Utah, I was like, all right, new chapter, it's fresh slate. Like, go out there and do whatever you can to help the team. I mean, you kind of just got to put your own things aside and just try to help the team win. I think when you put the team first and whatnot, that's how you become successful. So I was just able to be positive. That's all you can really do. You can only really control the things you can control, and that's, coming to work every day, working hard, pushing everyone else to be better, being positive, doing your extra reps. If you stay true to yourself and keep doing the right things will eventually and hopefully work out for you. So that's all I can really say, is just be positive and keep working. It's not over yet, and, keep pushing through. I mean, another thing I learned, too, is when I was in Sioux Falls, the athletic trainer there, Kevin Ziegler always said embrace hard, and we never really understood at the time until we started getting older. And now I look back and say, like, when the hard comes, like, really embrace it, and just power through it. And I think that makes me a lot stronger for that.
Mm-hmm. So when you finally got to Newfoundland and you realized that was going to be your new home, had you ever been to Newfoundland before?
Nope, I didn't even know it was an hour. I didn't even realize it was an hour and a half change from Eastern Standard. I remember getting playing. I was like, holy man, look at the time.
Yeah, that half hour has been making me practice math for the last 4 years. But yeah, no, I mean, like, what were your first impressions, I guess?
It was chilly. I mean, I got off the flight. I got there around 11, I think, o'clock at night or so on a Monday, but we had a Tuesday game against Adirondack, so I was in the lineup the next day. So it was a quick turnaround, really, because like I said, I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to keep playing. I didn't really know. Like, it wasn't that I didn't want to keep playing. There was no real opportunities kind of to do anything. So it was a quick turnaround, and yeah, I mean, it's a great spot. Like, the one word I used to describe Newfoundland is unique. People are great. The city of St. John's and surrounding areas is just amazing. There's so much outdoor stuff to do. It's you just kind of feel like you're in a different place, different country almost when you're out on the rock. It's unique, and it's got its own little community-like feel that, I love being a part of.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean the cities, the islands definitely embrace the growlers and whatnot. And I mean, like we started off this conversation was mentioning the fact that you guys went on and you won in the inaugural season, and you got the Kelly Cup and whatnot, and it's the first pro hockey championship for Newfoundland. And I mean, for me as a kid growing up here. I just remember the Fog Devils, the Maple Leaf, like the St. John's Maple Leafs, and all these teams, and just like you never really got to see it kind of capitalize with a championship. I mean, the closest was, I believe, the Ice Caps years where they made it to the final. I mean, as a player's perspective, just even being from Ontario and not from here, what was just that whole kind of season and playoff run like?
Oh, it was special. I mean, that's like the word I keep using to explain it when people ask. It was a special season. Like you said, to do it for like the province of Newfoundland and Labrador, it was special as well. Throughout the playoffs, you can kind of feel the city and the entire province kind of rallying behind us and whatnot. Especially we came from a late flight one night and they were in the airport waiting for us, and we knew that they had never won a championship before, and we kind of talked about it. We didn't make it like a focal point, but we just said, look, we have a chance to do something special that a team has never done here before. So that was definitely kind of in our pregame and our postgame and kind of like the talks throughout the locker room throughout the playoffs, as, we kept going through the rounds and the games and it got closer and closer. So it was definitely a special moment for me, for the coaching staff, for a lot of the players on the team to, for Adam Party especially, who ended up retiring. I remember saying before the playoffs, I said to him, he's like, we're going to win a championship this year and you're going to go out a winner. And just different players, you pick certain players and coaches in the city, like it meant something different to every person, like Abel, Buddy the Pup, and even him being all those years doing it too. Like it's special for people like him that have always been around, Brian Rogers in the booth too, has been here since the Maple Leaf days. Like everyone has a story to the championship. I mean, if we could all put our stories and stuff together, it'd be one heck of a book. So as special as it was for me, it's rewarding to see how special it was for a lot of my teammates, like I said, the coaching staff and the entire province. So it was a special season and a lot of fun. It's something I'll never forget.
Yeah, I love how you not only mentioned the players, but you mentioned guys who had just always kind of been there in their different roles, right? Whether it was in the media booth or Buddy the Puffin and whatnot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's a lot of moving parts, like the security. I'm sure there's been people that have been there for years, the ice crew, and I mean that whole organization. I mean, a lot of those people have been there for years, so it was pretty exciting to win. Basically, for everyone who was on the Rock that night, I think we all shared in the celebrations and had a fun time. Yeah,
and I was rereading your statement after that season. I think my favorite line was George Street. If you don't know, Google it.
Yeah.
Was George Street treating you good that night or what?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even remember exactly how I wrote that, but I remember it took a couple days to write because I didn't really want to miss anyone because there was just so many special people, like from the top of the organization down. You kind of just felt like one big family. But yeah, I mean, like everyone knows George Street. I mean, it kind of brings us together. The four St. John's or the Newfoundland guys and the team kind of brought us together. And you go out and you watch live music and you hang out and have a good time and you get to know the people singing, like Damien, Dave White, Chris Ryan, all those guys. And, it's special. You request songs. Like they kind of play for us everywhere we go. Every place we go, everyone knows who we are. So, we respect the people that are there. And you get to, like I said, you get to know the people of the city. And it's like you're one big family out there. Everywhere you go, it's a great time.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I'm familiar with, I know Chris and Chris Ryan. He's a fantastic musician.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. So, I mean, another thing, too, with everything being special and whatnot, I mean, at the end of the day, too, the Newfoundland Growlers in the ECHL, I mean, you're part of, like, that historic Toronto Maple Leafs organization. I mean, you got to, wear the old St. John Maple Leafs throwback jerseys this season and stuff. I mean, and obviously the Leafs are pretty interactive on their social media, just supporting you guys constantly. What's it like being a part of just that whole group as a Maple Leaf?
It's great. Like I said, when I was coming to Newfoundland and I knew the affiliation is with the Leafs, I was pretty excited to be back within this organization. they take care of us down here at the ECHL level. They obviously care about, it doesn't matter if you're on an NHL deal, AHL deal, ECHL deal. They want to win at the ECHL level, the American League level, and the NHL level. They want to win throughout the organization. We have development days with Pelly and Robita and Antropov and those guys. They come down and they work with our players. And, like I said, they're invested in the Growlers just as much as they're invested as the other teams. So it's, like I said, it's special to be a part of because it helps not make me a better player, but it helps make our entire team and organization better, not just on the ice, but off the ice too. But when it shows that they're invested in care about each individual, it makes coming to the rink every day fun because, everyone cares about each other. And like I said, it's a brotherhood inside that locker room and within the organization. And, it's like I said, it's top to bottom, bottom to top. We're one big family, and you could really feel that when you're out in Newfoundland. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we'll look at this season a little bit because, I mean, this season was definitely a whirlwind. I mean, it started with, kind of Snowmageddon and the fact that you had some delays there and canceled games because of just, the weather and how, I mean, the whole island almost basically got buried in snow. What was your thought process just kind of living through that?
That was wild. But for me, I'm kind of a weather geek, so I kind of enjoyed it. Obviously a bunch of us were able to get out and help shovel other people out, so that was good. But I'll never think of shoveling a foot of snow is a lot, or 2 feet of snow is a lot, ever again. When we had smaller snowstorms after that, it was okay to shovel that because it honestly felt easy. I've never shoveled so much in my life. Every single day for a week, you'd have to do a little bit more because we were so buried and so trapped. It was unbelievable. It was something I've never seen before, but I don't know, it was a kind of a cool experience, and at the time it was kind of for us, it was another chapter of the book we were writing for this past season. It's going to bring us together. What's it going to do to us, or how are we going to experience this, or, what are we going to learn from this? So, yeah, the Snowmageddon was definitely, like I said, people could see it on pictures and videos and stuff, but just being in there and the wind howling and, cars being buried, just the city shutting down after that. Got my storm chips, though, so I was all right. And my iceberg.
Yeah, the storm chips are definitely key, and so I mean, things were looking good again for the team to make kind of another run of a playoff run. What was the thought process through the regular season? When you started kind of making these ECHL records and just winning a lot.
Yeah, I mean it is especially for that record. I mean, it was something that, obviously the media hypes up and something that everyone talks about. But it was something we never really talked about inside the locker room. It's so cliche, but we kind of take it day by day. I mean, if we have a practice on Monday, we're just gearing up to have a good Monday. When it gets closer to the game, we start talking about the opposing team. You're gearing up. If we play a Friday, Saturday game, you're looking only at Friday's first period, your first shift kind of thing. We never really look too far ahead. And we were just focusing on playing good hockey, obviously 19 wins in a row is a big achievement, but it was something we never really talked about until literally after that game when Snowy kind of said, testament to the players, to playing good hockey, and that's really all it was. We didn't really focus on records or anything like that. It was just trying to get better every day in preparation, obviously make a long playoff run again. Obviously there's going to be ups and downs through the season, and you just got to work at those and try and learn every day, learn every practice, every game. And like I said, we never looked too far. We always focused at the present, and the rest of it was kind of taking care of itself down the stretch there. And then unfortunately, the season, for health reasons, had to be canceled.
Yeah. So I mean, you've mentioned your head coach a lot there, Snowy and whatnot. I mean, he kind of gave you the opportunity to continue playing pro hockey from what you mentioned before. What's it like been? What has it been like going through this whole journey with him?
It's been great. I mean, obviously have a lot of respect for him, a lot of respect for what he does for the organization and our team. I just think he holds us to a high standard, which our whole organization does. And I think him and the rest of our coaching staff do that. They never, when we were kind of slacking a bit or say we're off our game, he's not afraid to let us know and kind of smarten us up. And then even then, Melindy and the rest of the leadership group will step in as well, too, to get the team going. But I just think, he's professional every day. He makes it fun. You come to the rink every day, it's fun. I haven't been too many. I guess I've been a few places, but his office door is always open to talk to any player who needs to talk, whether it's life, hockey. All the coaching staff and our team has their doors open, and I think that's important. You never know what a player is going through, and our coaching staff is always there to answer the bell, but they just hold us to a high standard. They expect a lot out of us, and we expect a lot of ourselves as well. But it's just, preparing us for every game. Scouting is just second to none. I mean, if we're about to play a game against a team, we have every little detail about it. I mean, he does a good job with that. I think he just prepares us to win. I mean, he really prepares us and gives us every opportunity, gives us everything that we need. I mean, he could tell us all the X's and O's that he wants to, and we got to go out there and perform and play hard. But, I mean, he gives us all the other things that we need to be ready, and then we just got to go out there and execute and play to our style and our identity, and the rest kind of falls in place.
Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I'm looking, just kind of hearing that, I mean, looking at the years that a lot of guys had, it makes a lot of sense with, the performance. And, I mean, I'm looking at, Justin Brazeau had a great year for you guys. And this is, I got to watch him in his OA season and pay attention to him because it was kind of him and Ty Felber of the 67s going back and forth for that scoring title. And, typically sometimes you see OAs in major juniors. Sometimes, when they land a coast deal, they might struggle a little bit and they kind of see the point production go down. But, I mean, that wasn't the case for Brazeau with, 55 points in 57 games. What's it like just, having a guy like that kind of come in as a rookie and, put up those kind of numbers?
It was great. I mean, you look at the beginning of the season, it was kind of similar to our season last year with win one, lose one, win one. Obviously, everyone wants to be in the American League, the NHL, the ECHL. As a rookie, a lot of players are a little bit shell-shocked at the beginning. It's a new environment for them. They don't know what to really expect. It could be, it could obviously upset them a little bit. But, all the young guys that we had with Brazzy, Woodsy, Connie, I'm trying to think, Trazer, which is obviously a handful of them, they all, basically put their head down and just kind of went to work. Us returning guys tried to make them feel as comfortable as possible. And at the beginning, obviously, it's inconsistency. But that's, I feel like, for a lot of rookies, it's just, you play a couple good games, a couple good shifts, you feel a little bit off. You got to get used to the speed, the style, especially with 10 forwards, too, right? You got to pick and choose kind of when you're going all the time because you almost can't because you're going every third shift. So you got to pick and choose. And you got to adjust to the pro game. And I think Brazzy, along with the other guys that we had there, just really excelled this year once they found their game and got into a rhythm. And their success led to our team's success, and when our team's having success, it's obviously going to lead into all the individual success that we have too. So I think as the team started coming together, started playing within our structure rather than kind of straying away to things that they might have been used to in juniors, I think it didn't just help our team, but so many individuals on our team just kind of took off, and you could see some nights where the young guys, especially the rookies, would just take over games. They were just, they had developed so much, they had gotten so much better and focused on the details of the game, and it helped them, but it also helped our team. And I think with the mixture of them and the returning guys, it was just that you could just feel kind of how the season was going, that, we thought we had a chance to at least have a strong playoff push again. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it 100% makes sense, and it's incredible to kind of see everybody coming together and how they were performing. But yeah, let's talk about that, because I mean, obviously it's a tough time for everybody in the world right now with the current COVID-19 situation, and in the world of sports, it definitely kind of seems to be tough for players in these East Coast leagues, and especially in the ECHL. So I mean, what's the experience right now, just kind of being a player currently in that situation in the East Coast League?
It's obviously a little tough. Our season ended early, so I mean, our season got canceled. So everything kind of shut down March 16th. So you kind of don't really know what the next season is going to bring. Obviously, everything's you're preparing at home and getting ready to gear up for another season if that's obviously going to be a go ahead. But the sounds of it, we haven't heard anything else different other than that there'll be a season next year. So we're just kind of banking on that and just trying to go about every day and staying positive. And that's all you can really do at this time. I mean, there's a lot of unknowns, and it's just trying to be patient. And, at this time, though, you get a lot of time to focus on yourself individually. So it's kind of nice. You don't really have any other distractions because you can't really do anything else. So I think it's important for a lot of players, not just at our level, but every level, just kind of reset, take a step back. The world slowed down for everyone right now, and I think everyone can kind of use it to their advantage.
Mm-hmm. And I've seen you interact with this on Twitter a bit. I mean, Spit and Chicklets with Paul Bissonnette, Whitney, RA, and Grinelli. They're kind of using that platform right now to set up the ECHL Player Relief Fund. How's that? How's that feel? Just kind of looking at guys who almost don't really need to utilize the platform that they have to do something like that, but are kind of going out of their way to represent for you and the rest of the Coast guys.
Yeah, it's amazing. Obviously, we had like 3 weeks left in our season, so that's 3 weeks left to pay for a lot of players anyway on Coast deals. So, for Biz and those guys to step up, obviously it's special. I mean, he's played at this level. He knows what it's like. He knows how a lot of players do grind to make, not that much money. At this stage of a lot of people's careers, it's not so much about the money. It's you're kind of just playing because you love the game and you want to still be a part of it. So for Biz to step up and use his platform, I mean, it's special. It's amazing. I mean, a lot of guys are appreciative. There's a lot of guys that have families that might be struggling a little bit right now. There's guys that would typically have summer jobs that, you just can't do it, whether it's running hockey schools. Those aren't happening right now. So, or people that are getting married or just everyday bills, whether it's phone bills or food, groceries and stuff. So a lot of guys are a little bit short for money right now, but with that fund, obviously it's going to help. I believe they are sending out the first few paychecks this week, so that's going to get into the guys' hands obviously by next week. So, I mean, it's huge. I mean, what they did is amazing. A lot of guys are grateful for it, obviously, and without their help, we wouldn't be able to do probably something of this magnitude that we've been able to do so far. So, I mean, I'm thankful for it, and I can speak, I'm sure, on the rest of the Players Hockey Association here that we're all thankful for Biz and the work that he's done to help us out so far.
Yeah, it's awesome. The second I seen that initiative, I was a big fan of it, and I've been tuning into it a lot. And I mentioned I kind of knew that you were interacting with it because of Twitter. You're a pretty big Twitter guy, eh? You're active on that platform a lot.
Yeah, like I'd say I've probably crossed all three, but Twitter is kind of like where I get a lot of my news too. So I'm usually on it several times. So I like to read articles and different things that's going on, and just kind of be aware of what's going on in the world or what's happening. But yeah, usually I scroll through it. I wouldn't say I read like everything. I just kind of see kind of what pops my eye, and sometimes I'll catch a fan or catch someone that's struggling. I don't see it all the time, so I obviously can't get to everyone, but I try my best to stay, especially if someone tweets at me or someone says something to me, I at least try to favorite it or acknowledge the fact that I've read it. I can't get to everyone, like I said. So I think it's important. I mean, we have a unique platform. I know when I was a kid, I always loved talking to athletes or especially hockey players. My parents always said, especially my dad, you're going to be in those shoes one day and make sure you give back. So it's the least we could do. We have a unique platform. We're able to do and kind of set the stage and tone for everyone else in this world that you could do a lot of good. And you don't have to be an athlete. I mean, you could be any profession, any person in this world to make a difference. And I just so happen to be a hockey player, so I just use my platform basically to help a lot of other people. And I think it's important to kind of have those interactions with the people that may be struggling or fans throughout, because I know how much it can make their day because I was that kid one day or before.
Yeah, because, I mean, a big thing is what I'm looking at here is a little exchange of tweets between you and a 6-year-old Jack whose birthday gift was he had some tickets to the Growlers game, but obviously with the cancellation, it didn't end up happening. And then, I mean, you responded right away, just kind of being like, offering for him and his family to come out on a game as your guest, which I think is pretty awesome. But, I mean, I'll leeway into the fact that I think it's no surprise that, with actions like that and just, the work that you do in our community that, you were awarded as the Community Player of the Year last night. What do you have to say about, kind of taking home an award like that?
It's special to me. It's kind of something that's always, like I said, my parents kind of always said to give back. Because, like I said, I was that kid, before that I was always looking to, see hockey players and be around them and whatnot. When we had the junior league back in Thunder Bay. So, I mean, it's just like I said, we have a unique platform. It's really rewarding for me. It brings me a lot of happiness to help other people out. For me, it's a little bit easier too. I mean, I always said I'm in and out of the lineup. So my role is not just on the ice. I try to take that role off the ice as well because I have a little bit more free time. When there's, maybe it's a week or two where I'm not going without playing because of the trickle-down effect. So I kind of know my role, and I try to embrace it, and I try to just help the team on the ice as well as off the ice. And it's one thing I can do to help our team when I'm not playing is, just be more engaged in the community, whether it's an extra visit here or there, and do it for other guys that, might be in the lineup the next night. So, yeah, I take great pride in it. It brings me a lot of happiness and enjoy to see, other people's excitement for not just to meet me or talk to me, but just to come to a Growlers game or just checking in on someone. Like I said, we have a unique platform, and I think it's something that basically every hockey player could use to make a difference in other people's lives.
That's a fantastic mindset, and it's no wonder how I've just kind of witnessed that the whole province has, embraced the team and embraced you with, just actions like that. And so now I want to have a little bit of fun with you in the sense of play a little game of Newfoundland Love It or Leave It. So I got a list of things here, and you rapid fire. Tell me if you love it or you'll leave it. And it's some classic Newfoundland traditions basically for you and items.
All right.
Okay, so
I might have called, but we'll try.
we'll start off with George Street. Love it or leave it?
Love it.
Mummering?
Funny story. I went to the parade my first year in Newfoundland, so I love it.
Newfie Screech?
Love it.
Okay, really? Fishing?
Yeah, I mean it's a cool experience. So how can you not love it? I mean it's fun.
Okay, fishing?
I haven't been able to fish her yet. I mean, so I guess I can't say I love it. I would love it if I got to do it, so I'm just going to have to say leave it, I guess.
Fair enough. Okay, icebergs?
Love them.
Jig's dinner?
I haven't had it yet, so I'm going to have to say leave it, but I would like to hopefully have one next year. I got to get one in me.
You got to get pards on that.
Yeah.
Cook you up a plate.
Come on, pard.
Cod tongues?
I'm just going to say leave it. I haven't had those.
Okay. Toutons?
I love it. During Snowmageddon, a person had a little wood fireplace in their house, and my neighbor made it for us while we were shoveling, so those are good.
That's awesome. Caribou moss, so like old man's beard.
What's that?
It's basically something that they teach us in gym class is like when you're out hiking and on the trails, the little green moss that kind of grows on trees. Apparently, you can eat that if you run out of food or get stuck.
Oh, no. Leave it.
Bake apple jam.
Haven't had it, so leave it. That sounds unreal.
Okay. I'm seeing a trend where we almost need to make sure that you kind of get your palate of Newfie foods in you.
I'm missing out on a lot more things than I thought it was.
Newfoundland slang. So, what are you at? This is it by? All that fun stuff.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's fun.
Yeah, right? It's awesome. Okay, so yeah, this is typically the tail end of the podcast where I basically just kind of throw the show over to you. It's whatever kind of topic that you want to chat about. It could be a funny childhood story, a life lesson, really anything that you want to say to people. The show's yours.
Oh, that's tough. Throw me in the fire.
Yeah.
Honestly, during this time, I guess there's not really much you could talk about. I think everyone's kind of in the same situation. Obviously, for me personally, I'm thankful for all the frontline workers, the nurses, the doctors. I know my mom works at the hospital here, so I know she's pretty stressed out every day, even though we don't have too many cases of COVID here. I know it's a tough time for everyone. The only thing I could say is just try to be patient, be positive. Use this time to, kind of grow individually, see some new things that you might want to try and do, or, just focus on yourself either. So the world's kind of slowing down for everyone to take a step back right now, and I think we have a lot of time on our hands. Obviously, that could also be detrimental to a lot of people too. So checking on your friends, checking on your family. I know here we FaceTime with the guys a lot on the team. I actually just FaceTime Fergie this morning. Just checking on your loved ones, checking on your family, checking on your neighbor. I mean, you can always social distance, knock on the door, step back a little bit, see how they're doing. It's very kind of unknown times right now, but there will be an end, and we'll come out bigger and better and stronger for it. But in the meantime, just try to be positive, and don't be afraid to reach out. If you're alone or if you're by yourself and you're struggling. I mean, we're all in this together, and I think that's kind of all I can really say right now. Is just I'm thankful for all the people that are kind of keeping the world running right now when everything's pretty much shut down. But without a lot of people right now, we wouldn't be able to do even what we're doing. So thankful for that. Thankful for my family, my mom and dad here. That's where I am right now. Just try to follow the guidelines as best you can. And like I said, lights at the end of the tunnel. It'll come soon, and we'll be back to hockey, baseball, football, basketball, the good stuff, whatever you find joy in. Try and find joy in that now in the downtime. So when you come out, you'll be ready to go.
Awesome. I think that's a great piece of advice, and I think that's a great spot to end it. Todd, man, thanks so much for joining me. This was awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I mean, happy birthday. I didn't even realize when I sent you the date that it was lining up with your birthday. You didn't have to take time out of your big day for me.
No, for me, I'm in a routine right now, so I'm going to be working out in about an hour from now. So I don't really, I won't celebrate really till the weekend. I don't like doing it midweek. It just messes up my routine too much.
Okay. Well, I hope you have a great weekend then. I hope you have a great birthday. Like I said again, thanks again for joining me.
Yeah, thanks. I appreciate it. Stay safe.
Yeah, you too. Take care, and hopefully I'll shoot a Growlers game soon enough.
All right. Tickets on me.
See ya. Okay, that is it for today's episode. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And if you did, leave us a review, share it with a friend, spread these around. It really helps the podcast perform well. Yeah, in the meantime, stay best kind.